Hello everybody, my name is Minkaro and welcome to, as the title says, a review of NXT Takeover R Evolution. Now, before I get into this review, I just want to clear up a few things. I am not moving from a video game focus of the channel. What I do want to do though, because I haven't been getting many videos up, is to try and add a few more different things to the channel. This is really a way of testing the waters with a review of a wrestling event which I watched recently. I am aware that the event took place last week. I'm a little bit behind with the review, but it's a matter of trying to get the time to actually record the video, really. So what I want to make clear is 90% at least of the channel is going to be dedicated to video games, me playing video games. This is not a sign that I am moving away from that at all. What I also want to do is try and get people's reactions to what they think about this kind of video. I imagine most of the viewers are going to be from XWA, which is a very good forum for wrestling discussion. I will link it in the description, just in case there's somebody here who isn't from there and might want to join up. So I want to get people's thoughts on whether they like me doing this sort of thing, whether they agree with me. If you've got anything you want to argue with me about, comment and I'll reply to you. I might do a TLC review, I don't know. If people like this and say they want a TLC review, I will watch TLC, because I haven't done that yet, and I will give my thoughts on it. Now, the way I want to do this, I think the way that makes most sense to do this is to go through the matches one by one and talk about the build-up to them, what happened during a match, and maybe my thoughts on what could happen after a match, and anything else that might be related. So, the first match of the show, not counting the dark match, which was Bull Dempsey against Steve Cutler. I didn't see it, can't review it, but it's not something I'd go out of my way to see, because it's Bull Dempsey, you know. So the first match was Kevin Owens, also known as Kevin Steen, as most people know, everybody knows really, days of the internet, defeating CJ Parker. Now, it was a short match, but it was a match where we really got an idea of the kind of match we're going to see from Kevin Steen, condensed into that short amount of time. You had CJ Parker had a lot more offense in the match than I would have expected. He started off quite well, got a few moves in, but Owens. What I like about Owens' style is that unstoppable feel that it has. The cannonball run into the corner, the dive over the top rope. You get the sense that this is a guy that's going to keep charging towards you, and he's going to just mow through you. And it was really, really interesting to see. And I like that sort of squash match. If anything, it makes it seem more effective that Parker had the offense. So Owens, and this is one of my favourite moments of the match, was the lariat where he came out the corner. I mean, Parker caught him a move and he just smashed him out of the corner. And it's just this aspect of, you can hit me as hard as you like, I'm just going to keep coming at you. And another thing that I think added to the match, I'm looking at my phone, very unprofessional of me, added to the match was the blood that we saw on Owens' face, some sort of cut above the eyebrow, I think. And I understand completely why the WWE are trying to move away from blood being spilt, the health and safety aspects of it, but it has to be said, when somebody bleeds in the right match at the right time, it adds to the story. And it adds to the story here in the sense that Owen, after the match, you had the referee actually dabbing him with a towel, and Owen just completely ignoring him. That I do not give a shit aspect to the character, which was completely accidental, really added to it. And It can also add to matches like cage matches, Hell in a Cell, ladder, hardcore matches, whatever. It adds to them because it emphasises the brutality of the match. At the same time, I would say that it's something you don't want to see. I mean, back when wrestlers were bleeding, it was it seems to be every show. You know, every hardcore match, somebody would get busted open, and it takes away from the specialty of it. And special attractions are something that I'm going to repeat again in this review. But Kevin Owens vs CJ Parker, not much to review there, but I liked it. And I just want to say, this isn't going to be a review where I say, oh, this is a 2-star match, this is a 7 out of 10 match. I'm just going to say, liked it, didn't like it. So, the next match was the Lucha Dragons against the Vaudevillains. And I keep glancing over there because I've actually got Wikipedia open, so I know exactly what order I'm going to be reviewing this in. Tag team title match. Now, this is a match where I would have been perfectly happy if the Vaudevillains had won it. Not because I dislike the Lucha Dragons, I like them, I think they're great. But I like the Vaudevillains as well, doesn't matter, either way. So the Lucha Dragons ended up winning this match, and I really like them actually. I think a lot of people like them. That Kalisto, I forgot his name then for a second, does some moves which are really impressive to watch. I mean, I could watch that sort of backwards hand walk thing. Do that every match. I don't care. It's not going to get old. One of the tag teams building up to the pay-per-view, tag team matches I should say, building up to the pay-per-view, he did this dive where he kind of went over the top rope and dropped just straight down the rope. I'm trying to work myself out in the camera here. The rope was there, he dropped like there, and it was just insane. God, that's weird. I'm mirrored. I'm looking at myself and I'm mirrored, and it's upsetting. It confuses me. So, the one thing, tiny complaint about the Vaudevillains is that Agent English is no longer showing off that wonderful singing voice. But I love the gimmick. I love the promos as well, those video promos, that silent movie sort of thing. I think they're brilliant. I did read recently in the dirt sheet, so obviously you want to take this with a pinch of salt, that WWE are not wanting to let Mysterio out of his contract because they don't think they've got the Hispanic audience. And I think with the Lucha Dragons, there's potential there for that. The Lucha chant, as I mentioned, that's something that could quite easily get over. I was pleasantly surprised, really, with the promo that Kalisto cut in the build-up. I've missed the episode of NXT that happened on, but it looked good. I know it's in one of these video packages, and they make everything look good. I mean, you could take any match in WWE, and the video package making people, technical term, would make it look amazing, like something you'd really want to watch. But I think with this thing with Mysterio, they really want to try and get the Lucha Dragons established. But again, the flip side of that is, as much as I like him, I'm talking about Hunico's representation of Sin Cara, I wonder if the original Sin Cara may have done quite a bit to overcome. I don't know if that's going to be something they can fix. And also the worry is Kalisto and Sin Cara's high-flying style looks really good on NXT, with guys like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Finn Balor, who also tend to take to the air quite a lot. How good is it going to look on a roster where there's, and I like these guys, don't get me wrong, Mark Henry, Big Show, Sheamus, the larger style of guy. And I'm going to go a bit off topic here. What I would like to see from WWE, with this sort of wrestler in mind, and you can add in Tyson Kidd, you can add in Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler, is a division doesn't necessarily need to be called a division. You know, you don't need to say, oh, these guys are going to face these guys and then keep the heavyweight separate. A division that kind of mimics the X division of TNA. Now, it's not often that I would say WWE, the company that Vince McMahon owns, need to take a leaf out of TNA's book, but I think the X division, circa 2005, is something where we really could benefit from doing that. Because that X division, I think that was about when they brought about the catchphrase, it's not about weight limits, it's about no limits. And it's a load of nonsense, really. But what it translated to is, we don't care if Samoa Joe is a lot bigger than these other guys. He puts on really good matches with them, and that's what we want to do. And you could do that in WWE as well. You know, you take the guys I've mentioned, you could add in Kevin Owens, you could add in Cesaro, maybe, and I think you could really focus on putting on great matches with them. I mean, if you built your undercard, but the mid-card scene around that style of match, you could quite easily leave the main event scene to be more John Cena, Randy Orton, you know, the typical main event style match, which I enjoy. You know, I don't mean to come across all a match needs 5,000 different varieties of suplex and flip to make it entertaining. I can take both. But if you built the mid card like WCW used to do with Rey Mysterio, Jericho, Guerrero, etc., you could really put on some fantastic matches and some fantastic storylines out of that, because that's the kind of thing where the match would tell most of the story, and you don't necessarily need to have back and forth promos like you'd maybe need to with a John Cena, Orton, as I said, type feud. But it's just something to think about. The next match is Baron Corbin against Ty Dillinger, and this is a match which happened. It has a start and it has an end, and not a lot in between. And I've got to be honest, I don't care about this Bull Dempsey versus Baron Corbin feud. I don't care. There's nothing there for me to care about, to be honest. I know I've said before about the Kevin Owens type squash match where you see a little bit of offence from the opponent and you see how they deal with that offence. You haven't seen that from Baron Corbin. It's just been enter, do a few moves. The finish is okay, I suppose. I don't really get. And to be honest, his face annoys me. Baron Corbin. So Finn Balor and Hideo Itami against the Ascension. I think the one thing you have to address here is the face paint that Finn Balor was wearing. And I like the idea of it being a special attraction. I said it before about the blood. If something's going to happen that's really cool, you want it to happen less often so it's more special. That's really, I mean, it was great. Love the sort of teeth on the neck effect thingy going on there. One moment of before the match I really liked was the Ascension's faces. I'm sure there's on Twitter plenty of examples of that, screenshots of it. You know, you'll look on there, see what I mean. You'll find out what to search, I'm sure. The match, to be honest, I'm struggling to remember. I think it's a match more about the face paint than the match. I do remember Hideo Itami getting a very short-lived Kenta chant, which is something that I did like to see, because I think it's great that you know the guy's history. I think it's great that you've watched his past matches. You know what you're dealing with in NXT, but why focus on that? Maybe you disagree with WWE's renaming them, but it's not something that I think deserves a chance to show how much you know about a guy's history. I mean, I wouldn't go and watch Exodus, Gods and Kings, for example, and sit there going, Batman, Batman, because I really wouldn't want to go and watch Exodus, Gods and Kings anyway, to be honest. It looks a bit. So it's something that kind of gets my nerves. I mean, fans chanting Husky Harris when Bray Wyatt made his debut, in inverted commas, it gets on the nerves. Another thing I think this is something they're going to keep teasing, is Hideo possibly go for the go to sleep, and I think it's something he could quite easily make his finishing move. I mean, why not? Punk's not there. He invented it. If he hits it and the commentator says, "Oh, that's a move that he invented," great, yeah, brilliant. And I've mentioned commentary, and I've reminded myself, I'm going to say this now, even though I'm not talking about the match now. During the Zayn Neville match, one of the commentators, I forget who, said Adrian Neville is undefeated 5-0 in matches that have gone longer than 10 minutes. And I thought that was a brilliant bit of commentary. I mean, it adds such a legitimacy to the match when you're bringing out stats like that. I mean, we all know professional wrestling isn't a sport. We know it's entertainment, and I don't want it to go down the super realistic, trying to look too much like a sport sort of thing. But when you can add in little bits of statistic like that, I think it just adds to a match so much. Again, on commentary, I thought Corey Graves did a good job. Not sure how much experience he has. I'm only really familiar with him as Corey Graves. I completely forget who he was before that, actually. Was it Sterling James Keenan? Yeah, I think it was. I'm not really familiar with him before WWE, but I think he did a good job. As quite a bit of the lead commentator, who's I've forgotten. It's gone. It's completely gone. Having to say, Corey, what do you think about this? And it came across to me eventually as him saying it because Corey was just too quiet. You know, he wasn't saying enough. So that's that. Now the next match we have, penultimate match, Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. And I was blown away by this match. I mean, we've seen Charlotte have a great match on NXT against Natalya. But to be honest, before that, I haven't really seen much out of Sasha Banks that really impressed me. But she was fantastic here. I mean, the character she portrayed during the match, the story of the match, I thought was just excellent. This is one of the best women's matches in WWE that I have seen. Well, possibly top 5 that I've seen. You know, I'd have to go back and look at some of the other ones to just kind of measure up against. I really want to do right now, but I imagine it'd be up there. What I really there's a fantastic reversal sequence in the match. Just trying to remember it now because it is a while before since I've watched the show. It's not fresh. It should be fresh in my mind. It isn't. Sasha went for some sort of head scissors. Charlotte countered it. Sasha countered it back, and it was a sense that these two people really knew each other's style because they teamed up. They were friends, and that is exactly what you want from that kind of match. I mean, if you had Brother Wade, yeah, I've gone a bit on the third there. Brother Ray against Devon, Matt versus Jeff, Matt Jackson versus Nick Jackson. Any team that's been together for a while that are supposedly friends or related, in the case of the Hardys and Dudleys, maybe. You want them to know what the other guy's going to do. You want counters because I've watched you do this for years and I know exactly what you doing this is going to lead to. So it's really great. Sasha's diving thing, suicide dive, that's the one, through the ropes was great. Thought Charlotte did excellently. And one thing I did like is trying to remember the spot now. Charlotte countered one of Sasha's moves in a way that says that you can do all the mind games you want, you can bring all to the table that you want, but I am just better than you. And she did it with that kind of impact. And I think the sooner they get Charlotte on the main roster and not losing to Natalia, whoever it was, I didn't watch the Slammies, the better. Because she has just a lot of potential. And I think, honestly, they don't need to mention the Ric Flair thing, because I think she's good enough to get over without that family thing. So, really like that match. But the next match, I think, was match of the night by far. Some people are saying a match of the year contender, and I would have to agree. Sami Zayn versus AJ Neville. And before I get into the match, I just want to point out the contrast between Zayn walking through a backstage area, really tense music, really serious. This is the biggest moment of his life. And then the music hits, and it's so happy, it's so catchy. But I like it, you know, it's a great theme. Who cares? This match was excellent. I thought Neville played the heel. Again, this is something I'm going to say in inverted commas, because I don't think he really was a heel. It's kind of just for the match, just for the story. I thought he played the role really well. And the match, it started off quite slow, but I think it makes the finish even more effective, because when you have that contrast, the slow start to the really high-paced, energetic end and middle of the match, it helps it stand out more. Some amazing spots in the match. The what's it called? The powerbomb thing. Is it Blue Thunderbomb? I've completely forgotten. My mind's gone blank. But Sami Zayn, that was really cool in this match, because he got Neville out of some sort of electric chair position to do it. I thought that was great. Any match where Sami breaks out that diving through the ropes DDT thing, it's always going to be onto a winner in my book, because it's just such a cool spot. And Neville trying to do all he could to win the match. The referee bumps actually worked in this match. A lot of matches they don't, but they really did work here. And I think with Sami Zayn, they have got a potential star in their hands. If they can get what he's got on NXT and carry it over to the main roster, and I know this isn't something that's going to be easy to do. You look at Biggie Langston, you look at Emma, there's people that have not done quite as well as they should have compared to what they've done on NXT, but there is a hell of a lot of potential with Sami Zayn. I mean, the pop that he got when he won the match was unreal. I mean, that 3 count, the audience just exploded to their feet. So, really fantastic match. And I've got to talk about the aftermath of the match, because I thought this was so well done. Owens coming out and hugging Zayn, you know, the roster coming out congratulating him, and I've got to be honest, I didn't recognise half of them. I mean, I saw what's his face? God, what is his name? The hacker guy. That's now a DJ for some reason. You know who I mean. Saw him there. Who is he? And that guy? And him? Don't know who that is. But anyway, they did it. And they did it really well, because they dragged the celebrations out for so long, and they brought up the little thing in the corner, the icon. You're thinking, great show. You've got a nice little nod to the history between Zayn and Owens. And yeah, that was a good show. I like that. Great final match. And hang on a minute, what's going on? And then Owen attacks Zayn. Really wasn't expecting it. You know, thought the show was over. And already you've got that set up, that feud set up, and I think it's a nice way of saying to the audience that know the history between the two. Look, you know what matches these guys can put on. You know how good their feuds can be. So this is what we're doing now. We are doing it now for you. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen everything that we've done together. I've seen, but the matches I have seen in Ring of Honor, PWG, I think they had one, have been fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that. And another thing I want to mention is Regal's reaction to the attack. I thought he sold it just as well as Sammy, to be honest, on the emphatic fronts. The berration of Owens, the tending to Zayn, I thought he did a great job, but let's be honest, this is Regal we're talking about. He does a great job at anything. You know, he's one of my favourite wrestlers. Nothing to do with NXT, just something I wanted to say. And I think top to bottom, this show was really good. I mean, the stuff I think all I've really criticised is the Baron Corbin thing. And how can you criticise something that lasts 41 seconds? Looking at Wikipedia here, that's the match length compared to everything else that happens on a show. You know, we can tell you that. 41 seconds of not being interested. It's a lot longer than that on most shows, isn't it? So really enjoyed that NXT Takeover Our Evolution show. And well, while NXT is meant to be the development grounds of WWE, maybe a glimpse of the future, I'm hoping that this review serves something similar for me, and that the viewers will promote me up to the main roster and I can review some of the main roster shows. It's only going to be pay-per-views. I'm not going to start talking about Raw, SmackDown, apart from when it's relevant to the pay-per-view match. If I want to refer back to something on SmackDown or Raw and say, oh, we're called back to it nicely here at the pay-per-view, and I'll do that. And if people want me to talk about, they say, oh, I'd really like to know your opinion on TNA, Shikara, maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't watch them often. I wouldn't be able to talk about the ins and outs, intricacies of it, but I'd quite happily watch a show. If you said, oh, we want you to watch this certain show and tell us what you think about it, I'll do that. Even going back into the past, if you want me to do that, I happily do that as well. If you said, oh, I watched Royal Rumble 2003 recently, what did you think of it? I'll go and watch it just to refresh my memory if I haven't seen it before, and I'll talk about it. You know, this is a channel, and I'm somebody that really wants to know what reviewers want. You could come out and say, don't ever review a wrestling show again. No. And I won't. You know, it's entirely up to you. Obviously, if it's just what one person saying, I'm going to go with the majority thing. You know, I'm not going to go stop doing something just because it's one person, obviously. And if there's something else you want me to talk about, so I really want to try out different things on the channel. As I said at the start, it's going to be mostly video games, mostly the Let's Play thing, but I do want to try out different things. So, hope you enjoyed the review. Comment and disagree, agree with me, I will reply to you, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, take care, goodbye.